Good morning. We are so privileged and excited to have you with us. Maybe we could just ask you to say hello to the village. Can we ask you to say hi? So,
Hello. Gandang umaga po.
all right. So you see po Ate Kat on your screen. She's the owner of Lika Artisan Bites. And then Ate Gretz and Ate Micah, they're the owners po of Buntis Baker. So we're just going to get right into it po. The first question that we'd like to ask you is if you can talk a little bit about the story behind your business. And earlier we were talking about like the dangers of procrastination, the dangers of knowing when God is giving you a prodding in your heart, and he knows that he's leading you into a new path, a new faith adventure. And I guess this is the importance of responding to when God speaks to us, and not putting things off and not delaying. So I guess our first question is if you can talk a little bit about the story behind your business and why pivot, why start now. We'll start with Buntis Bakers. Let's start po with Ate Gretz.
Okay po. Good morning po. So, siguro I would like to start with the name Buntis Bakers po. Marami po kasi there are a lot of people asking, why Buntis Bakers? So, you can read it po two ways. So, first one po, Buntis, two words, bun. The bun represents po baked goods, and then tease, like teasing someone to get it or to have it. And then another one po, you can read it as buntis, meaning po pregnant in Filipino. Kasi po, when we decided to do this business po, Mike and I just found out that we were both pregnant. So, yun po yung time na yon. And also, yun din yung time na start ng pandemic po. So, yun po yung, just a background lang po why we chose Buntis Bakers. So yun po, to answer po yung question, what inspired me po personally to take action or to pivot po. For the longest time po, I've been wanting to sell food-related products. So initially po, I was thinking of meal prepping for people. Naisip ko na, it's a good way of offering a healthy, para pong healthy meal sa ating mga tao. And the idea is very nice, but then, nung ina-analyze ko na siya, so I was trying to list down the things that I need to do to be able to do that business. So it entails a lot of grocery shopping, at tapos ang dami pong preparation ng yung ingredients, and then so many hours po in front of the stove cooking, and then na-realize ko po na I have a 2-year-old, and then I am pregnant. Baka it's not safe for me to do it right now. Though my husband is very willing to help me, pero he's also a full-time student and he's also a full-time Kali fitness coach. So parang sabi ko, it's not for me right now. So I just kept on praying and asking the Lord, Lord, ano ba yung giftings ko? What can I offer? Ano po ba yung gusto ko? What are the things that I like to do? And then I remembered po na, wait, I love baking. I've been baking since I was 13, since high school. And my sister and I po during that time would bake and then sell the cookies and the brownies to our friends and classmates. So I have it. Sabi ko, so parang na-excite po ako. And then, isa po siguro din na reason po bakit ako excited about baking is because I bake a lot for John Tony, my 2-year-old po. Most mommies would agree na it's very expensive to buy clean, gluten-free, paleo-friendly snacks po for your kids. So what I would do, I would bake it for him. So para naman mas fresh pa, healthier, and it's cheaper. So sabi ko, that would be good na ma-share to sa ibang tao. So, yun po. And also, one confirmation po, it's in line with our calling as a family po. So, na-mention ko po that JB is also a Kali fitness coach and he helps people po in the area of their health. And ako naman po, for the longest time, ang aking involvement sa church is sa Bukayo din. So, I used to do a lot of research for Bukayo po sa mga products po that we sell. So, yun po yung linya po namin nung husband ko, nung family. And yun nga po, parang minsan nag-uusap kami na sometimes it's sad that people think that parang when they enter into a healthy eating habit, na they will be deprived of a lot of things. Na hindi na sila makakakain ito, hindi na makakain. But actually, it's just a matter of being creative po sa ingredients and how you cook your food or bake your food po. So siguro po yun po yung confirmation. So I was very excited, very excited. And then, of course, namamatay din yung excitement eventually. So may time po na so yun nga po, I mentioned the pandemic also happened when siguro 2 weeks after we decide, let's go for it. Let's do it. And then after 2 weeks, wow, lockdown. And people were panic buying. Wala kaming mabili ingredients to practice baking for the R&D. Tapos, that's one challenge. And then challenge number 2, I went to the doctor, had a checkup, and the doctor told me, oh, your placenta is lower than normal. So you're at risk of bleeding. Parang, oh my gosh. Sabi ko nga, parang, okay. So, challenge number 2. Challenge number 3, na-start na po akong maduwag. Parang I started to feel nervous about doing it because everybody's baking. Di ba po, sa Instagram, everybody's posting na nag-bake sila ng ganito, ng ganyan. Sabi, who's gonna buy if everybody's baking? Kaya pala wala akong mabiling ingredients kasi pinili na ng mga tao. Dahil lahat gusto mag-bake. So, yun po. But then, alam niyo po, when the Lord opens the door for you, parang He will not, parang yung provisions niya when it comes to creativity will always be there. So, the Lord reminded me, but you still have some ingredients in your pantry na you can use. So, start from there. So, start yung small steps. Diba? You can sit down while doing it if you're afraid na magbi-bleed ka and just do 1 recipe or 2 recipes each week. Parang ganun po. So, mabagal siya, small steps, but it's towards my goal po. And then by the Lord's grace and mercy and strength po, finally po, we were able to launch our products po 2 weeks ago. So siguro yun po.
Yeah, I think like when I listen to like your story, Ate Grace and Ate Micah, like I'm reminded of that like very common phrase of how necessity is the mother of invention. And I think because you're a mom, Ate Gretz and Ate Micah, you're a mommy to be, and of course having to think about the kinds of treats that you would want to feed your family and your children, and how you're able to kind of morph that into something where it will not just benefit, and it will not just be for the enjoyment of your family, but for the people around you. Like I think like that's one of the ways that we as a village want to use this opportunity to reimagine what work is. Like, what does it mean to engage in creative work where it's not just an expression in which you find yourself winding in, but it's really an expression of your contribution to society, a way in which you, based on your original experiences, your own personal struggles, your own stories, and how you're able to add value to society. So, Ate Micah, do you want to add anything to what Ate Gretz mentioned with regards to the story of Buntis?
Ako naman po, when I found out that I'm pregnant and as per my doctor's advice, my husband Jack and I decided to quit my job po as a preschool teacher last March. And I prayed for something to do while I'm at home. Back then, there was no lockdown yet. Some of my friends who are also moms suggested things that I should get into, such as binge watching shows on Netflix or reading books po. But since I'm the type of person who likes to create things, I know those things po will not work out for me. So I really wanted to be productive, especially when the lockdown happened. I didn't want to wake up each day thinking, why is this happening? I don't want to think about negative things po. And I just wanted to look back at my pregnancy and be able to see what I have decided to do with what I was given. So just like what Ate Gretz mentioned po, we found out that we are pregnant almost at the same time. And since we've been working together in the ministry and some other projects po, I talked to her and our goals aligned of wanting to take care of our babies and wanting to feed ourselves and others po healthy snacks. And so Bunties was born. Ayun po, for me, this is really a great opportunity to bring out our creativity and also to work and learn po from each other. I would say na this lockdown po, this pandemic has helped me a lot personally po, in terms of growing personally, also professionally, and ano po, learning a lot, especially po from Ate Grets and also yung sa business po that we're doing, we're into. Ayun po.
I think like Ate Maika, like what you said is really important because of course like we want to be a village in which we 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 want to take advantage of every opportunity given to us to a point where we don't allow what's happening around us to really like shake or determine the world or the visions and the dreams that God has given to us. And I think like looking back, you'll be able to say down the road, the Bunties Bakers was born during a pandemic. I think that would be an incredible story po for you to tell in the future. So at the Cat, can you share a little bit about your story and why you decided to pivot at this moment?
Okay,
Today, yeah.
so Lika is really a byproduct of the pandemic. It really is. It started, siguro, if I may say, my story, my baking journey actually began when I had Ikay. So when I had Lyrica, that was like 4.5 years ago. When I started feeding her solid food. So it's like the same thing with Grits. Feeding her or getting food from the grocery that are clean and that has no preservatives and additives can be really expensive. So I really started being creative with the food that I give her. So I make gummies from elderberries. I would make marshmallows for her and butterfly sandwiches. So I started to become creative with what I give her. And then fast forward to the pandemic, and also because I wanted to give them my family clean food. And I think most of you know that she's a byproduct of doing Whole30 and CrossFit and, eventually paleo eating mostly paleo food in our house. So here she is calling me now. But
No worries po, Ate Cat.
this is live.
Yes, Village, just to prove to you, this is live.
Sorry po.
So while we wait po for Ate Cat, ayun, okay na po
Sorry.
kayo. Okay, yes po.
Sorry, where was I? So, I wanted to provide them clean food. So I started baking. And I actually, at that time, I wasn't eating bread because I found out during the Whole30 that I have a sensitivity to gluten. So I ditched bread as in for the longest time. And then during the pandemic, there was a sourdough craze. And everyone was like, baking sourdough. So your feed is like, filled with sourdough bread and everyone making sourdough is like, so my fascination with sourdough it grew even more because I know that there are so many health benefits with baking sourdough. It's good for your gut. It doesn't, make you bloated. It's prebiotic, probiotic combined because of the fermentation. So there's a lot of benefits that you can get from the sourdough bread. So it's good for people who has diabetics. So because of that, parang my interest grew even more. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, like what Gret said, you cannot find ingredients in the market. Oh my gosh, there was one time because I started my starter, and at that time I named her Starlight or something like that. Someone threw it away because it smelled so funky and like spoiled. So someone threw it away. I was like, why did you throw it away? That was like a starter. Like I have something. It has a purpose. So anyway, I started again. Siguro the pandemic started. The lockdown started March. So around May, I attended a webinar about Sourdough 101. And then I also watched some videos on how to, do the starter, how to feed it, maintain it, and, everything. So at that time, siguro, the flour became available in the market so much more than the beginning of the pandemic. There was one time it was like $26 for like a 5-pound bag of flour. It was like, who is going to buy that? But people are buying it eventually. So that was May when I first started building my first sourdough. Second na kasi the one got thrown away. And I named her Adarna. So Adarna flourished. As in, gave me every day. I would feed her. So Ike would always ask me, Nana, is it time to feed Adarna? So she knows my starter. She has a sister.
Oh my gosh.
And then so I started baking, making pandesal. In the beginning, siguro my very first bake of the pandesal, it was so dense. It was like a hockey puck that if I throw it on you, you'll have bukol, or it'll like make a mark. But I asked some friends, I asked help from some people whom I know are like doing sourdough baking, and so they gave me tips, they gave me ideas, and then come June, it was like Independence Day, Philippine Independence Day, and I posted my very first picture of the sourdough pandesal. I believe it was like June 11 or 12. So the next day, one of my friends, one of our friends in the village, texted me and asked me, so, Kat, where do you buy the sourdough? Because, I was prescribed that, it was recommended to me that, sourdough is best for me. So I should, that's, I have been looking in the market, but there was, I cannot find some sourdough that have clean ingredients. So, so I told her about the process and, how I built it and everything, and I made it from scratch. And all of a sudden, I found myself blurting it out. I said, just order for me. I wasn't like thinking, although I expressed like my intention to some friends. I even mentioned it to Sister Gina. I'm falling in love with the process of sourdough, baking, and it's so therapeutic and calming at night. Like when we were doing the website, I would be multitasking, and I would be baking at the same time, because that was like my time of research and development, or R&D. So, and I mentioned it to some friends, and they said, who were my actual testers, my taste testers. So they would say, my friends would say, yeah, why not go do it? Why not? So June 13 was my very first order, and I did not have a name then. I do not know my costing, I would just bake it for friends. I was like, hey, can I order 1 dozen of sourdough pandesal? And I was like, okay, sige. I make it for them. It's like, saka na yung kasi I don't know how much it costs. What type of a businesswoman is that? Parang ganon. I would just give it away because I love it. I love it so much that I really learn from it. Every time I bake, I roll. Like I've learned. It's like playing with Play-Doh with Ikay. It's like an empty canvas that you can do whatever you want with it. The possibilities are endless. Parang ganon. So yeah, and then siguro from the push na rin ng people from the village, our mentors, our coaches, it was becoming a project of the village. I felt like it was because you feel the support of the village. You have people, saying, "Ate, we'll make your logo. We'll help you with the packaging. We'll help you with the branding. Let's push for it." And so the name Likha, because there were so many. Some of my friends suggested a few names, but it wasn't. Parang it's not the name that I was looking for at that time. And then I remembered I told Randall, if ever I get pregnant again, I would name her Likha. Because Lyrica for music, Likha for working with hands. So, but since I cannot get pregnant again, or maybe I'm gonna have a boy later on if ever I do, because Likha was taken. I'm gonna use Likha for the business, and I said maybe Likha Bites, and then after I had a meeting with I was part of a meeting with one of the coaches meeting, and so I was telling them, oh, these are the names, ganito, ganyan. And someone suggested to add artisan in the name. So that's how Likha Artisan Bites came about.
Nice.
Sorry, haba.
Salamat po, Ate Kat. So I think considering that the idea for Buntis Bakers began in Feb just of this year, and then Ate Kat, you created your first sourdough starter in May. So just in a few months for things to have to get things rolling already. And yung sinasabi niyo po, Ate Gretz, yesterday na the importance of making small and consistent yet incremental steps is better than taking no steps at all, especially if you really feel that there is this leading from the Lord to enter into a new adventure with Him. So I guess just to close off our interview, can you share with us po the dealings that God has given you throughout your entire process or journey with Him so far, maybe to also encourage people who are also considering maybe starting a new business or starting a new venture, or really taking seriously our challenge of allowing venture to follow vision. And then for the three of you, I know that you've been talking about the importance of the village and the importance of the community. That's something we say here in Pinnacle Village, that life is better connected, that when we go beyond, let's say, our worship gathering experiences and we're sitting in rows, we're able to find life and growth in the context really of community and of relationships. So maybe you can share po one or two realizations from God, reassurances, promises He has given you throughout your entire process, and then share a little bit about the role of the village po in all of this. Let's start with, I'll go back po to, let's go Ate Kat, sige po. And then we'll go back to Bunty. Sige nga ho.
Siguro, for me, the first thing is to learning to listen and respond to the promptings of the Lord. I think if not have been for the courage that the Lord has given me, I will not push through with this. Because it's really just to make the sourdough pandesal, it takes like 14 minimum of 14 hours to make from beginning to end, starting from the levain that you build. So like keeping at it, and it really parang um, put me in a place where I learned to surrender my ways and expect what is the unexpected, and having that courage to respond, because I know it is from the Lord. The second one would be, and this is a big thing for me. It's trusting in God's provisions. Kasi I always say this because I know this is part of my story. When I started making sourdough pandesal, I did not I was just using a hand mixer, or I used my hand to knead the dough. So there was one time, and this is talagang surprise from the Lord. One of our friends dropped by, and they have this huge box, and it was a professional stand mixer. And who in their crazy minds would bring you a very expensive mixer? But for me, that was a confirmation, and yung provision from God. It was a surprise from the Lord. And sorry, at that time, I know in my heart that if we just trust in God, and the Lord will be faithful in providing you with what you need, and you will never lack. Tapos, siguro ganun din, parang yung sa, the village took a big part in making this come true, yung talagang yung into fruition, because if there is something that I can offer to the village, to other people as an alternative, with my friend needing bread, why do we have to delay? Why not do it now? And yung just realizing that there are people behind you, believing in you, pushing you, and will support you. That's parang an icing on the cake. Kasi talagang you have that support. So yun.
Yes. Salamat po, Ate Kat. I think like when it comes to venturing into new things, especially new businesses, definitely that's a very natural fear for a lot of us, because wanting to be in that place of safety and security. But I think like when we open ourselves to God's sovereignty and what He's able to do, and when we choose to really believe that our God cannot be limited by anything or anyone, and when we take that initiative, He also, doors open and the unexpected happens. And I think that's really the beauty of the journey of a person who does decide to respond to where God is leading them. So very beautiful po, Ate Kat. And of course, the role of the village. Ate Micah, would you like to share po?
Ako po, I have a lot of realizations po during this time. Siguro I'll start with God's perfect timing. I know it's such a cliche po, but for me, ito nga po yung pregnancy that we prayed for several months, and even this pandemic, I really believe that He makes all things beautiful in His time. Kasama na nga po dito yung pag-launch namin nitong business. And second po, just like what Ate Kat mentioned, it really takes a village po. I know I cannot do it on my own as much as I want to be productive po and to, I know I can come up with things on my own, but I really saw po and realized the importance of village. So in our business po ni Ate Grits, since it's a partnership and also we have our husbands with us po na laging nakasupport, and also our friends who are our taste testers. So we saw po the importance of the village. They give us comments, they give us suggestions on how we can improve our products po. And ayun po. And lastly po, I think I really want to what I really want to share po is that we have to embrace our creative potential po. God has revealed so much to me about what I am capable of, things that are even beyond my imagination. So when the lockdown started po, there's really a lot of things na very surprising po. I realized the beauty of the gifts and talents that God entrusted to me, and how I can use them not just to create, but also most importantly to help others po.
Ate Gretz, if you'd like to wrap us up po, wrap it up with your insights po.
Yes po. For me naman po, yung realization ko and yung dealings po from the Lord, siguro one story lang po before po tayo mag-close dito sa interview. So the Lord parang just taught me, parang to learn how to flow with Him. One story po during our R&D, maybe some of our people saw the post that we made sa Instagram ng isang ensaymada. Actually, different flavors ng ensaymada. But the ensaymada, they can only see it in the picture but not taste it. So they didn't know the texture, yung taste, just pretty in the picture. But actually, the ensaymada journey taught me a lot of things kasi so parang I had this idea na we should include ensaymada in our product lineup kasi it's Filipino and everybody loves ensaymada. So let's do it. So excited ako. I've been researching what's the best recipe, ganyan. So testing time na. So I did my first ensaymada. So excited. When it came out na from the oven, oh my gosh, it's not ensaymada, it's French bread. Tigas. So palpak. Okay, so research again. Do it again. I think like 6-8 times I've been doing it. Different recipes, different ways of doing it. Pati yung itsura niya, it's the same sa YouTube video, but for some reason, the taste is and the texture, different lagi ang outcome. So, dumating na ako sa point na I'm beginning to be discouraged po na, Lord, hardworking naman ako, faithful naman ako, I've been doing my homework. Parang, why? Why not give me this one thing that I want to put in our menu? And so parang I felt like the Lord was just watching me the whole time and maybe smiling. And yun po. And actually po, one night, na-realize ko na, I think, alam ko na kung anong ibig sabihin ng ensaymada. So, tag-usap kami ni Micah. Sabi ko, Micah, I think we should not wait for the ensaymada anymore. Kasi otherwise, Bantis will not be launched anymore because of ensaymada. Parang, and then I realized, I was reflecting on what happened, and parang the Lord just made me realize na the ensaymada is just part of the journey. Actually, ensaymada is not even in our sampler box kasi po, hindi nga po siya nangyari. I never made a good ensaymada. But I've learned a lot of things, and it played a major role kasi po, I've learned to persevere. I've learned to be faithful. I've learned to fight. I've learned parang ano po, to give it up when it's time to let it go. Di ba? Parang just to flow with the Lord. And ano nga po nung tinitignan namin yung sampler box namin ni Micah, imagine if there's ensaymada inside of this box. Di ba? Hindi siya bagay. Hindi siya bagay. So, yun po. Parang, ano lang po, siguro what I've learned from it, embrace the failure, move forward. Di ba? Yun po, learn from it. But let not this one failure stop you from doing what you want to do. Kasi there are many other things that you could still offer. And this is just one thing. So, yun po. So, that's one thing po, flowing with the Lord. And second po, ano po, yung being, sobrang grateful po ako. I would like to take this opportunity po to say thank you po for the support po of the village. Na overwhelming po yung support niya. Na-mention na po ni Tika at ni Micah. And people po would just send us messages encouraging us, ano po, offering help. And people would buy our products and give it to their friends, family, co-workers, just so people outside the church will be exposed po to our products. And that's a big thing for us po, na hindi po namin siya nagagawa ngayon, but people would just offer help. Even people from San Francisco would offer help. Parang, Lord, this is really, really, really something po na nagpapasalamat po kami. And knowing with this kind of support that we have po, na we are not alone in this journey, ano po, it gives us more encouragement to be more excellent and to be more faithful po, and just to continue on po with this business po that the Lord opened for us. Yun po.
Ate Gretz, Ate Micah, and Ate Kat, on behalf of our village, we'd like to thank you so much for sharing your journeys and your insights and even your struggles. I think the way that all of you ended it was really so important, because I think it's a reminder to us na hindi po tayo nag-iisa. And I think just the role of the community and the village, and knowing that we have people that believe in what we're creating, that believe in our products, that are with us, not just at the end where things are already beautiful and successful, but I think just to have a community that's with you in the very first steps, where you're still trying to figure things out, that you've made that courageous decision to pivot, and then yun na nga yung sinasabi niyo po na you know it's from God. And just to respond to all of those things, and being faithful with what we've been given now. So, maraming salamat po, Ate Kat, Ate Gretz, and Ate Micah. We are looking forward to consuming more of your your delicious treats and goodies po that you will be offering po to the community. Maraming salamat ho.
Thank you din po.
Thank you again for watching our YouTube videos. We hope that these messages encourage you and inspire you to move forward within your life. If you have further discussions or want to have further discussion, we have questions right below in our description box, so just click that. And we believe here that life is better connected, so feel free to share the content, like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you get further notifications on what we're doing here and the messages to come. So with that, thank you for watching our videos. We'll see you again.